Assalamu alaikum, strong believers. This is Malik Pai, and right now, as you can see, it's raining outside. Why I'm so happy? Because this is actually one of the times where your dua is accepted. And by the way, there are more times where throughout the day or throughout the week or in the year where if you make dua, there's high chances of it to be accepted. Rain is one of them, but there's more. So stay tuned. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Make sure you hit the bell icon so you get notification as I come up with different videos to make sure that we stay strong and confident in worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alright, welcome back. So, number one. During the last part of the night, last third part of the night. So if you take the night, divide it into three, the last part of the night is basically right before Fajr I'm talking about. That's the time before the Fajr kicks in, okay? And we'll have another video of giving you exact time and how do you calculate that. But basically for now, last third part of the night is where your dua is highly accepted. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes to the lowest heaven and He says, who is there who's asking me so I may give him, or who's asking for forgiveness so I may forgive him, who's making dua to me so I can, I'm listening to him. So this is a very important time, last third part of the night. So remember that. That's number one. Number two, I have a whole list right here. When Adhan is called. So a lot of times, in fact, it should be a habit of us to repeat after the muaddin. When an adhan is being called, we should recite the adhan as well. But also if you make dua during the time when the adhan is being called, that is also. So a lot of times we might be playing video games and adhan is being called in the background, and then what we'll do is we'll just ignore it. We'll say, yep, once the adhan is finished, then we'll go pray. No, stop what you're doing. This could be a very good time for us to make dua to Allah. So because during that time, dua is accepted. Number three. Between Adhan and Iqama. So when we know the Adhan is called, we go to the masjid. When we're at the masjid, now there is a time between Adhan has already been called, now you're just waiting. Some of us might go to the gym, if your masjid has a gym, or we'll just start socializing, doing other things, and we'll just wait till the Iqama is called when it's time for us to pray. But no, there's a time between Adhan and Iqama. Make sure that you make lots of du'as, because your dua is highly accepted during that time. Alright, number four, during sajdah. And I would say especially during voluntary, like when you're praying nafil prayer or sunnah prayers, when you're praying those, recite while you're in your sajdah, make sure you just talk to Allah, right? Talk to Allah, whatever your needs are. This is the time when you're very close to Allah. It's the most form of humility. Imagine your head is to the foreground. You're humble, you're in front of Allah. Make sure you make lots of du'as during that time, because it's highly accepted. Alright, we got number five, before end of Salah. What do I mean by end of Salah? Not after salam. So when you say at-tahiyyatu lillahi, then you have Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Then right before salam, there's a part where you should be making dua, and during this time your dua is highly accepted. And then also even after prayer, some of the scholars say no, this is just talking about right before salam, but when we say the end of prayer, some say no, this is either end or after the prayer. So if you take the opinion of after the prayer, then count that as in as well. As soon as you say salam in your fourth prayer, put your hands up, make dua, because that is also a time where your dua is highly accepted. And then when the two armies meet, this is actually a pretty it's a topic, of course, we don't want to be in a situation, but if you ever are, you have two armies meeting, of course, fighting for the sake of Allah, to defend our honor, defend our countries, defend our Muslims, then during this time, du'as are highly accepted as well. Okay, there's an hour on Friday. Where your du'as are highly accepted. Some scholars say there's two strong opinions on that. One of them is when Imam makes khutbah, and then there's a time where he sits down. That time is considered that hour on Friday. It's a very short period of time during where your du'as is highly accepted. So when Imam sits down, make sure you make dua. Also, some scholars say that this is a time between Asr and before sunset, basically between Asr and Maghrib. That's also a great time for you to be making dua, because your dua is highly accepted. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Waking up at night. Let's say you wake up in the middle of the night and just go get some water, and your intention is to just go back to sleep. If you remember Allah during that time, your dua is highly accepted. After wudu, one of the dua, right now this video will go long, so I'm not going to teach you the duas after wudu and so on. We'll have videos on how to make wudu, but basically there's a dua, specific dua that you can make, or any dua. After wudu, you're physically purified, you're spiritually purified, you're about to pray, but right after wudu, make dua to Allah, because that is also a time where it is highly accepted. Right now, of course, all of these things that I'm saying, these are not just things that I'm making up. There was a book that I was reading, and it had duas which I have never heard of, or it had like all these different rituals that you had to do, that if you do this, you're gonna get a job. If you say subhanallah 350,000 times, you'll get a job. No, this is not one of those things. Any dua that I'm mentioning over here, all these times have been taught to us by Prophet Muhammad SAW, that these are the special times where he used to recite, make dua, and used to encourage others to make dua as well. So for now, just take my word for it, but there is a hadith backing up all of these. If any of you guys had an opportunity to go to Hajj or Umrah, and let's say you're in the Kaaba, after you're done making making tawaf, basically you're supposed to go behind Maqam Ibrahim. There's a station of Ibrahim, his footsteps are there, and you pray a couple sunnah, and then you're supposed to drink Zam Zam. Or any time, let's say somebody goes to Saudi, or they go for Umrah and they come back and they give you Zam Zam, don't just take it and drink it. This also, when you're about to drink Zam Zam, that is also a very important time where you can make dua to Allah, and it is highly accepted. By the way, just for the reference, you might be making dua in all these times and say, well, how come my dua is not getting accepted again? Go check out the video on the etiquettes of dua, because there could be other things you might be doing which is not making these duas accepted. But these are the times where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has highly recommended for us to make dua, and it will get accepted inshallah. But there's also other prerequisites that you have to meet as well. Don't just skip your prayers, and don't fast, and don't do anything. You're still doing all the bad things that you're not supposed to be doing, and then it's time for raining and say, oh Allah, give me this and that. No, it's a whole package. You can't just take these and say, yep, I've done my part. It's a whole complete package. But while we're there, during Ramadan, the doors of mercy are open. So this is of course something that doesn't happen every day or every week, but it's a month in the year. Great opportunity for us to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during Ramadan. Anytime during the Ramadan, the doors of mercy are open. Ask Allah for forgiveness, ask Allah for all your needs. Then we have, in Ramadan specifically, the whole Ramadan is already a good opportunity, but Laylatul Qadar, there's a night of decree that comes during the last 10 nights of Ramadan, during odd nights of Ramadan. Make sure that you find that night, pray during that time, because your duas will be accepted. An opportunity that 99.9, probably 100% of us will never get, inside the Kaaba. That's also a mention that, inside the Kaaba, if you ever get a chance, do dua. You know what? Make dua while it's raining, and other places that you get an opportunity to be inside the Kaaba. Who knows? Your dua will get accepted. And when you're inside the Kaaba, don't forget to make dua for Malik Pai, and of course other Muslims as well. Between Safa and Marwa, so when you're doing Umrah, when you're done your tawaf, then you go between these two hills, Safa and Marwa. When you're standing on Safa or Marwa, make dua, because your duas will be highly accepted. And then during Hajj time, there's a ritual when you go stoning Jamarat. When you're stoning the Jamarat, that is also a time where your duas will be accepted. And day of Arafat. A lot of these are related to the ones that I've just mentioned at the end, are related to Hajj time or Umrah, where you have to be at a specific place. But if you ever inshallah get the opportunity, day of Arafat is all about dua. Make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during the day of Arafat. But what about the people who are not doing Hajj? Guess what? The time the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. You know, we all talk about Ramadan. We know there's 12 months, but the lunar months, the Islamic months, Muharram, Safa, Rabiul Awwal, and all those, Dhul Hijjah, the days of the Hajj, the first 10 days. So if you're going Hajj, you will be in Mecca. But if you are anywhere else in the world, those are also very blessed days, those 10 days where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts your du'as. So don't be, you know, sad that, oh, I'm not able to go for Hajj, because those 10 days of Hajj are also very blessed. You have visiting the sick. When you're visiting the sick, angels around you, any dua that you're making, they will say Ameen to your dua. So imagine how blessed that time is as well. First of all, you have done your part because your Muslim brother or sister is sick. You're visiting him or her, asking how they're doing. And then when you're making dua for the sick, make dua for yourself as well. Ask for forgiveness, ask for things, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessings upon you, because that is also a time where duas are accepted. Ooh, this is a tough one. When a soul of a person is coming out, you got to realize that angels are around you, especially at that time when the soul is coming out. Could be you're somebody that you know. I know that I was present at the time when my grandma was passing away. I was right there at the time of her death. I wish I had known about this hadith, because you're making dua for the person, but don't make dua for everybody else or other Muslims, for yourself, because angels are around and they will say Ameen to your duas, and duas could get accepted. And of course, we have already talked about the rainfall, and when the rain is falling, remember, this is the blessing of Allah coming down. If there was no rain, there won't be any plants. If there was no plants, there's no vegetables, there's no fruits, there's no animals, because animals will need the grass or the vegetables that they need to live on. If there's no animals, then you can't eat. Basically, when raining is coming down, this is life coming on earth. So ask Allah for dua during the time of rainfall. Before duhar, now this is when the sun is basically at its peak. Prophet would pray 4 rak'ah, and then he will encourage others to make dua as well, because when the sun is at the peak, I'm talking not dhuhr time, but it's a little bit before dhuhr time. The dhuhr time comes after a little bit to the peak of sun, like the zenith they call it, right? So when it's right in the middle, that's the time where you should just pray 4 rak'ah and make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because that is also highly, because the doors of skies are open during this time. And then you have crowing of rooster, so when the rooster is, you know, of course we don't live, a lot of us might not be living in farmland, but if you are, and if you got roosters in your backyard, I try to have a couple hens in my backyard. That didn't work out very well. If you live in the suburbs, there's laws and neighbors will complain and so on. But if you ever hear the crow of the rooster, make sure that you make dua, because he has just seen an angel. So these were over 20 times or places, right, where you can make dua and your dua is highly accepted. Once again, this is Malik Pai. Stay strong. Dua is a weapon of a believer, so make sure you strengthen this weapon. Strengthening yourself, of course, your arms. I'm talking your spiritual strength, making sure you follow all the prerequisites of your dua to be accepted. But do not forget to take advantage of these times, especially while it's raining. I'm going to make dua, you make dua too, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive all of us, to make sure that our ummah, our Muslims all over the world are protected, are saved, we're thriving to get closer to Allah, staying away from His anger. This is Malik Pai. Inshallah, we'll see you next time. Assalamu alaikum.